All right, so we'll call the meeting to order, and first item is adoption agenda. We do have substitute page 24, if anyone's got that for the budget. CEO will talk about that when we get to that. Move. Thank you. Second. All those in favor? Motion's carried. We have one delegation this evening, Derek Jensen from McElhaney, who will be here to present on 560 Colby Road, the rezoning application, development permit application, and development variance permit application. So, Derek, if you could take the podium. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I would just like to spend a few minutes just providing a brief presentation highlighting a few key aspects of the applications before you. The land use amendment application supports the development of 5 residential lots. The development variance permit supports the rural character of the extension of Colby Road. And the development permit supports the protection of Lazo Marsh surface and groundwater hydrology and sustainability initiatives. The proposal builds on the development principles established with the prior Colby Road project, these being large single-family lots, rural frontage road cross-section, reduced pavement widths and open ditches, 150-foot no disturb covenant setback from the Lazo Marsh, and stormwater management designs that mimic historical hydrological patterns. Where the application expands on these principles is by increasing the total lot size by approximately 0.3 of an acre. And that's essentially a function of the shape of the parent parcel. The building setbacks will be more restrictive by considering the location of on-site mature trees. All the mature trees will be surveyed and located on a site plan within the context of the building footprints, the driveways, and stormwater facilities. From this information, specific building setbacks for each lot will be established. This is an existing residence here that will remain. In the prior phase of Colby, it was the standard 7.5 setback on the front, 9 on the back, a combination of 4.5 on either side. Given the mature tree cover over a portion of this property and given the vastness of the developable area, we worked with staff and it became clear that there was really no protection of the tree area or remaining trees within the building area if we just expanded on the existing CD zone that Colby was developed under. So what we're going to do is we're going to locate all the trees. We're going to work with the developer to establish building footprint areas, driveway areas, and perhaps accessory buildings, as well as stormwater facilities. And within the context of the mature trees, so we can establish where these areas are and maintain as many mature trees as possible. All the trees that are located out of the specified building setback areas will be protected by covenants. With respect to municipal servicing, it couldn't be a whole lot more straightforward. There's an existing sanitary sewer line on Colby Road that runs to the pump station just by Lazo. The water main, the municipal water main ends right about here and needs just to be extended to the limits of the frontage. Stormwater detention is going to be maintained on site, so there's no municipal burden there. And Colby Road is an existing rural road averaging about 7-ish meters wide. The expectation is to mimic, similar to Colby Road, having an 8-meter wide rural cross-section, 8 meters of asphalt, open ditch, that type of thing. So over and above that, just a simple statement that the applicant has agreed to all municipal sustainability, affordable housing, park dedication, and adaptable housing initiatives, and certainly supports those objectives. Thank you for your time. I welcome any questions.
Questions for Mr. Jensen this time? Don't see any, so your matter will be coming up on the agenda here shortly.
Thank you.
We have minutes of meetings for approval then, the regular council meeting minutes of February 20th.
Move. Second.
On approval then, all those in favor, motion's carried. And for receipt, the committee of the whole meeting minutes of February 27th.
Move. Second.
On receipt, all those in favor, motion's carried. And there's one committee recommendation, of course we'll be discussing this here tonight, the Comox Financial Plan Bylaw 1745. Before the council here for first, second, and third readings.
Move. Second.
CAO, I'll just ask you to explain the rationale behind the page 24.
Page 24. Thank you, Your Worship. We just received the Comox Ellis tender for the crosswalk that we're looking at building this year. And the tender prices have come in high again. So we are currently doing an analysis, and we'll be providing a staff report to the committee meeting next week with some options. What this slip page does is that should council authorize proceeding with the project at the higher tender price that we've received, we can utilize gas tax money for the additional $30,000 because there's a portion of sidewalk excuse me, project related to this. So what we're asking is that, as you can see in the yellow highlighted section, we've increased the revenues, which is we're taking money out of our gas tax reserve and putting it into the revenue side of the budget. And in the expenditure side of the capital projects, we've increased that accordingly, so it's just an in and out. So this way we don't have to amend the budget later on because we're asking for 3 readings of the financial plan tonight. And then next week we can have a more in-depth discussion about the project itself.
Okay, any questions on that? And then if you could just comment, I know there's a public input process that we've been going through here on the budget, but just outline kind of where we've been and where we're going with that.
Yes, the financial planning process that we've engaged in this year has been done primarily at committee of the whole meetings, the regularly scheduled meetings. They've been open to the public, advertised, and the little camera up in the corner has ensured that we've recorded most of those and placed them on our website for the community to enjoy at their leisure. We've since February 26th, we've put a notice on our website as well with a link to the full financial plan detail for the community to look at should they want to engage in that process. We'll be placing an ad in the paper advising the community that if they have comments or questions prior to adoption, they're welcome to provide that to us. And we've engaged social media as well using Twitter, and we'll also be placing the item on our newly created Facebook page to see if there's any interest in discussing this matter.
And what is the time frame for adoption?
We, at this stage, are proposing that should council give it 3 readings tonight, that we would bring it forward in another 2 weeks for adoption.
Okay, but the tax rates bylaw wouldn't happen till May.
Tax rates bylaw would happen, yes, closer to May.
Okay. Any questions on that aspect of it? All right, thank you for that. So on the committee recommendation, and all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. No committee reports. Management report for receipt at page 11.
Move receipt.
Second. Receipt then. All those in favor? Motion's carried. Okay, those ones are still moving along. We're hopeful to get an update on the DL 194 here in the next week or so. I believe Minister Bennett will be here on the 15th, and tentatively we've got a meeting with him to just see if he can provide us with a further update on that, although it's not his ministry, certainly Cabinet will be involved with that when that grant is announced, hopefully. So moving on, we have Regional District Board meeting minutes of January 29th for receipts.
Move.
Second. Second on receipt then, all those in favor? Motion's carried. Any discussion on that, any of that? As they continue to work through their financial plan. All right, so moving on, did we vote on that?
We did.
Yeah, thank you. Bylaws then, we do have our water parcel tax bylaw 1743 for adoption.
Move.
On adoption, all those in favor? Motion's carried. And our sanitary sewer parcel tax bylaw for adoption.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Motion's carried. And as we were just discussing, bylaw 1745, the financial plan bylaw for first, second, and third reading.
I'll move that.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion's carried. I'll come forward for adoption in 2 weeks' time. And with respect to new business, then, we have the application zoning development permit and variance permits for 560 Colby Road. At this point, staff are recommending that the zoning application be referred for comment to the advisory planning commission.
Move.
Second.
Move the second. Any discussion on that? Yes, Councilor, question then, Chris.
To the chair to staff, on page 55, I'm just curious, the long-term plan, I assume is that Colby will be a cul-de-sac at the end, so it won't come out onto Lazo. And is it our plan that there will be a greenway along Lazo on that side of the road that would have pedestrian access, and that pedestrian access could go up Colby from Lazo?
Yes.
Great.
Not up Colby, the idea is it's a continuation of the Lazo Road greenway. So that's the greenway that we currently have south of Beckton on Lazo Road. So that's a 12-meter road. Our target is 12-meter wide greenway. So we would envision that coming up, having crossing across Guthrie Road, continuing on Lazo, such that it ties into the marsh.
But it wouldn't, there's no prohibiting someone from, a pedestrian from coming from Lazo and hitting Colby Road somehow?
No, and we would provide, our intent would be to provide a path connection. Yes.
Okay, Councilor Price.
Yes, on page 58, it notes that the ultimate catchment area contributing to the Colby Road pumping station be reduced to 94.9 hectares, and that we be advised of it. And so, do you see any concerns in that? That's just
No, this was part of, the pumping station was originally designed with a set of interim pumps, with the idea that when development hit a certain threshold, they would upgrade the pumps to a larger size. The time came for a review of that. This study was in response to that review that found that the land uses had changed. They had better data in terms of how much was actually coming into the plant, and it didn't require that upgrade. This report was referred to our Public Works Department that accepted the report.
great. Thank you. And on page 30, under the financial implications, John, it talks about town PCCs on 4 lots. I was just curious, is it because there was a parent lot in the first place? We are creating 5 lots.
We're creating 4, so we have 1 lot, and
Okay.
under the Local Government Act, we can only charge on the additional lots created.
Okay.
So it always drops by 1.
That would be a good reason why we couldn't get more. And the back part of the property that will be covenanted, that there will be no building in it, how do we let people know that? I know there has been 1 or 2 problems in the past that the bylaw enforcement officer has had to deal with. Is it, does a notice go to the new owners, or is it explicit in the covenant when they buy the property?
It is currently registered on title, in covenant, and it's very explicit in terms of that there be no alteration of land or vegetation in that area. So that would remain. Each new title would have that on. To aid future property owners,
There's fencing too, isn't it?
yes, we're the idea is to actually pin the boundaries. So each new lot line, side lot line, we get an iron pin, so it could be located. And also there be a provision of a wildlife fence along that boundary. So we not only have, we have a physical marker that people can reference, and then if that physical marker gets worn over time, it's relatively easy to find the iron pin.
Great, thank you.
Okay, any further questions on the motion? All right, all those in favor? Motion's carried. No correspondence this evening, so we'll move to reports from members of council. We'll start with Councillor Swift.
Okay, well, since I last reported in, I've been to the safety awareness and the medal presentation at the fire hall, which was, I think, about 3 weeks ago, but I missed the interim meeting, so I attended that. I went to the workshop on the policing contract. I attended the sewer commission meeting, the volunteer coffee at the Hilbert Lodge today, and I attended the Local Government Leadership Academy, where it was wonderful. There were a variety of sessions on the relationship building with staff and the public, difficult decision making and problem solving, creating clear, consistent, and effective messaging. There was what they call a mini session on PlaySpeak, which is now an online consultation platform where you can create a dialogue on matters of mutual interest between the town and the public, which was kind of interesting. And as always, it's interesting to meet other people from other communities and see what their challenges are. And I think we're very fortunate here in Comox. So it's been a busy time, but really interesting. And if anybody's interested, there was a summary of the events, and it's online. And if you are interested, you can come see me, and I can direct you to it. So.
Great. Yeah. Councillor Price was also at that, so you can carry on with your report.
Yes, and it was very good. It was certainly one of the best things I've been to, I would say. And just interesting experiences from other areas, such as the use of workshops rather than dealing with everything in committee of the whole or council, so it gives that chance to have a more informal dialogue and look more in depth on issues. So that was an interesting twist. I think Councillor Swift covered it very well, the topics. It was 7 o'clock breakfast, and they worked us very hard. But I think what I came out with it, with the feeling too, that diversity is great, and that it's how we work together. And I came out with just feeling incredibly positive, and I just like to say it was Councillor Grant's saying how much he'd enjoyed it that gave me the push to go, and it definitely exceeded my expectations. I also went to the Mourn the Lawn at the museum, and we had quite a good turnout. Some recollections that people had. I chaired the Friends of Comox Lazaro Forest Reserve meeting. I went to the Spinathon, and I've never spun. I wasn't quite sure what I was getting myself into, and I definitely say if you are going to be part of the Spinathon, book early, because I had the 4 a.m. slot. So I was also very grateful for our public works that they had salted the roads beforehand, but it was actually really neat, and seeing there was 14 teams, and I felt it the next day, I can tell you. But I did 26 kilometres, which I was impressed myself. It was certainly on the low end for most people, but I impressed myself. And I also attended the Social Planning Council, and we are having a function which an invite will go out, which is the opening to the 4th Quality of Life report collection material.
Great. Well, you took, I think, what was the acting mayor's spot. Councillor McKinnon was supposed to take that 4 a.m., but he had some lame excuse for being in Vancouver for a basketball tournament.
We'll be in lane here.
I'd like to publicly thank Councillor Price.
It's your turn.
Yes, I had a prep meeting in regards to Community Justice Center and schools, and trying to make a connection between improving restorative justice opportunities for youth as a diversion from the courts yesterday. I was at the police cost meeting at the fire hall with a number of other councillors. Also went to Moore and the Lorne, the Comox Museum. Open house there was very well attended, and they also have a section celebrating the centenary of St. Joseph's with Sister Centennial sitting on a bench. A nice photo of one of our councillors next to Sister Centennial. And that's my report.
Great. Councilor Fletcher.
Thank you. Since we last met, I attended the policing costing presentation that we had, and it's very interesting. Attended the Regional District Board meeting, and also this week attended the Regional District Water Sewer Committee of the Whole. And today I was a representative from the Regional District to the Comox First Nation treaty negotiations. And part of our day today, we did a tour of their new fish processing plant, which we all know as Aquatech, which is now will be known as Salish Seafoods, and that's through their Petlich Seafood sister corporation, and they're very, very excited about it, and ask that the community remember that the retail outlet there is still alive and well, and visit them anytime. That's my report.
Great. Councilor Kenga.
I attended the Economic Development Executive meeting this morning, and our board meeting is tomorrow, at which time we'll be putting our final draft of our 5-year plan together, so that should be coming up soon, along with the Maiden Comox piece of that. So we'll be discussing it tomorrow with the board, and then should be getting it in place relatively soon after that. So that's all I've been doing.
Councilor.
Pardon me, I attended the RD board meeting, I attended an RD committee of the whole meeting, and I chaired a water committee meeting and a sewage committee meeting at the RD. I attended the 100th anniversary of Rotary in British Columbia on behalf of Mayor Ives. I spoke and congratulated Rotary on the good works that they do in our neighborhood. And on Saturday afternoon, I had the great pleasure of going to the hockey rink here in town and watching the Comox Valley Chiefs midget AAA team win the Island Championships, which sends them off to the provincials. And it has been decades, I think, since any AAA team, midget AAA team from Comox Valley has gone on to the provincials. So that's a big thing for those young kids.
Big game, eh? 1-0.
1-0 game. It was fabulous. Anyway, that's my report.
That won't be the score of the St. Joe's Scrubs game versus Rotary.
I don't know, I'll leave it up to you. This year.
Coach said that the hardest job he's had in Rotary in 38 years is turning that into a team.
Yes. All right, so since we last met council, I had a meeting with representatives from the Vancouver Island Construction Association, Greg Bateman, and local member Alan Fletcher, just around government procurement policies, and talked in general terms about information that they will share with us in terms of how we may go forward with projects in the future of a capital nature. Of course, there was the Premier's visit here, which involved the St. Joseph's Hospital 100th anniversary open house kickoff and the Chamber of Commerce lunch. The next day, actually, I went to the Fish and Game Banquet, and it was a great event. A little sad news out of that was that two people that I sat at that table with, at the President's table, passed away on the following Monday, both Keith McKenzie and Ron Watanabe. And that's very sad news, and we certainly have expressed our condolences to their families on behalf of the town. And big hole to fill for that organization, and hopefully they'll be able to carry on, again, a great event, but some sad news to follow. RCMP policing cost presentation as well. They also had their annual performance plan, which the CAO, the treasurer, and myself attended here, and that was helping to outline the local detachment's priorities, and we discussed many issues. Commended the RCMP for their work today, but encouraged them to focus in on traffic around schools and intersections, and enforcement and education efforts in that regard, as of course we all probably hear those concerns from our constituents here, our residents. So they've included some of that in their performance plan, and we'll hear what the final result is when they get it back to us. And the policing cost issue, of course, continues to be a bit of a live issue, and the UBCM has a working committee on that. And as you know, with our budget process, it's been a challenge to maintain a good level of service in all areas when we're looking at policing costs increasing at, well, basically double the rate of our tax increases. So more to follow on that as we go forward. Mayor's lunch meeting was Cumberland's turn last Friday, so I attended that and shared some different ideas on how things may go. We talked about, among other things, issues that came out from the RCMP, such as the possibility of working together on bylaw enforcement is one example. And so I'm sure some more discussions will come out of that. Courtney, I think, has a bylaw officer. Of course, we do. Regional District has one, as the Cumberland. So there's lots of resources there. We can perhaps look at sharing some of those. The Spinathon has been mentioned. I know the CEO is there as well as our Director of Recreation. And somewhere between $11,000 and $12,000 was raised for Jumpstart, which is the Canadian Tire-sponsored kids sports program. And certainly a great cause, and everyone was quite energetic when I was there for the last couple of hours. So good to see that event carry on. A couple other events coming up. This will be the third annual Mayor's Cup hockey game will be held on March 18th, Monday morning at 6:30 at Sports Center Way. Big crowd, I'm sure, won't be there, but this will be yet another event that will benefit the kids sport, which is a similar organization to Jumpstart. So perhaps if you find yourself with nothing to do at Monday morning at 6:30, the day after St. Paddy's Day, come out and watch and be entertained.
Well, Barbara will be spinning.
That's right. Apparently, the rumor is that they're going to have Habs jerseys versus Leafs jerseys, so I'm quite excited about it.
So there'll be no winner.
That's right.
How do you both lose?
That's right. Hopefully it'll be a tie. And then just for marking your calendars, September 6th is ways off, but that is the, I think, 4th annual now Mayor's Cup Golf Tournament. So that's at Crown Isle again, and I just got notice of that. So if you're interested in participating, that'll be more information as we go forward. And lots of charities have benefited from that and will continue to do so. No other items on the agenda. Any questions from the media or the public? All right, so that's it for the agenda. A motion to adjourn would be approved. All in favor? Motion is carried.